1, 2, 3, 4. Thank you. Thank y'all so much. Well, we really appreciate that. And man, it's good to be back here. We kind of tell the same thing everywhere we go. People are always asking about me and Steve's baseball caps. And, you know, when we play some fancier places like this, and I think I mentioned this last year, these really aren't baseball caps. We like to call these Carolina toupees. And actually, the reason I mentioned that, I got to tell y'all a quick little thing. We were doing an outside festival a few weeks ago somewhere, and it was this big festival, and we were playing on the big stage there, and I did that little joke, and then I turn around, everybody's laughing, and I turn around, and Josh took his cap off, and Josh was wearing a cap. He took his off and said, "Mine's just a baseball cap." And Steve and I didn't appreciate that too much. Well, coming up from the Blue Ridge Mountains of North Carolina is where we're all from, and we were all really influenced by a North Carolina guitarist named Doc Watson. He was a big influence of ours, and I had that's right, thank you. And we all got to pick with Doc, and I had the great blessing of doing a lot of shows with Doc and really playing with him my entire life. So here's an old tune I used to do with Doc a lot. In the spring, one sunny day, yeah, my sweetheart left me. Well, she went away. Now she's gone, and said, "Oh, come back, Daddy. Oh, I need you so." Now she's gone, and I don't worry. I'm sitting on top of the world. I think it's deep. That tree, yeah, get out of that orchard, honey, let the peaches be. Now she's gone, and I don't worry. I'm sitting on top of the world. All right. Station, headed down to the yard. I'm gonna catch me a freight train. I've been working too hard. Now she's gone, and I don't worry. I'm sitting on top of the world. Now she's gone, and I don't worry. I'm sitting on top of the world. Thank y'all. Well, coming from the mountains of North Carolina, I want to do a little fiddle song for you. You know, even though I was a piano player, I was around a lot of great guitarists like Doc, and but also around a lot of banjo players and fiddlers and that sort of thing. So I ended up playing a lot of that kind of music on the piano. And so here's one that is a real famous fiddle song, but you don't hear it too often on the piano. This one's called the Orange Blossom Special. Thank you. I appreciate the confidence. Those are just a few Ray Charles licks to get a little warmed up. That's all. Thank you so much. Thank you. I really appreciate that. I'd like to feature Steve on a song, mostly because I need the rest. You've already heard what a great flat picker Steve is, so we want to do a song here and feature him. And Steve, how about picking a little bit of the Alabama Jubilee for us, bud, if you would?
Let's do it.
Mr. Steve Lewis on the guitar, y'all.
Yeah. Thank you very much.
Did I hear a few new licks in there I hadn't heard before?
I made a mistake or two.
That's what I thought it was. I just thought it was another lick I hadn't heard. No, that was awesome, man. Well, we're going to slow it down here for a song, and please. Josh is saying. I had a request to do this song. We do this song every year. But one of the things about playing piano, if you do a lot of the stuff we do, you have to learn how to play country songs, a little rockabilly, which we might do later. But when you do a lot of country piano, there was a person that kind of made that famous in the style of his own. The guy's name was Floyd Kramer. I don't know if anybody knew that, and what he chose to do when you do those old country songs, he would put a note beside the next note, like that kind of thing. So here's kind of the most famous record he kind of recorded. Thank y'all. Well, thank you so much. Thank y'all. Well, we'd like to feature Josh on a song right here, and he's a great singer as well as being a great bass player. And we mentioned Doc Watson earlier. I'd like to do one more. This is not one of Doc's more famous songs, but this is one of my favorite recordings he ever did. And speaking of country songs, this reminds me kind of more of a country song, which you know what they say about a good country song. It's pretty much just 3 chords and the truth. So, this is one of those tunes. It's a great old song called the Greenville Trestle.
Watch the trains, they go by, and the whistle's lonesome sound you could hear for miles around as you rode across that Greenville trestle high. But the whistles don't sound like they used to. Lately, not many trains go by. Hard times across the land mean no work for a railroad man. Trestle now don't seem so high. On the river bank I'd stand with a cane pole in my hand. I'd watch the trains up against the sky, with the black smoke trailing back as they moved along the track, rolled across that Greenville trestle high. But the whistles don't sound like they used to. Lately, not many trains go by. Hard times across the land mean no work for a railroad man, and the Greenville trestle now don't seem so high. Whistle whined, I'd get on my mind. Lord, I wish they still sounded that way. When I turned to head for home, Lord, she'd rumble low and long past the sunset at the close of day. But the whistles don't sound like they used to. Lately, not many trains go by. Hard times across the land mean no work for a railroad man, and the Greenville trestle now don't seem so high. And the Greenville trestle now don't seem so high. Thank you.
Thank y'all so much. Well, we've had a great time playing a lot of shows this summer, and we've had a great merch man out on the road with us this summer. It happens to be my son, Luke Little, and he's been out selling CDs for us, and because he's got to go back to school here in another week or so. And so, but what he did about 9 or 10 months ago, he picked up the mandolin. I guess it's been about 9 or 10 months now. And the last few shows, he's been coming out and playing a song or two, which is pretty cool since he's been playing for only that short a time. So if you would, please welcome merch man extraordinaire and mandolin player, Mr. Luke Little, out to the stage, if y'all would. So he's just kind of getting started, but let's see, Luke, how about doing a little bit of, if we get too formal for y'all, we'll try to tone it down while we're trying to decide what to play. How about doing a little bit of a St. Anne's Reel, if you want to do that? Well, since he's been playing about 9 or 10 months here and getting started, we feel like we need to instruct him down the right path. So we're going to do a Bill Monroe song for you right here. And because I imagine when y'all were driving to this show tonight, the one thing you were thinking to yourself, if I don't get to hear anything else, but what I really expect to hear is a Bill Monroe song on a piano. I'm sure that was right at the top of your list. But this is actually an old fiddle tune that we enjoy playing. This is an old tune called Jerusalem Ridge. Let's pick one more. Sweet boy. we go. Mr. Luke Little on the mandolin, y'all. Well, if you'd like to meet Luke in person, he'll be at the CD table during intermissions.
Coincidentally.
Coincidentally, by the way. That's great picking there, boys. Good job. Well, thank y'all so much.
Thank you.
Well, everywhere we go, we always like to do a hymn or a gospel song. We're getting ready to do a couple of those here, and it's for us personally, it's just our way to say thank you for this wonderful blessing we have to get to go out and play music and have fun like we're having tonight and enjoy a beautiful night like tonight. Got a couple of CDs here tonight. My newest CD is called Made in the Blue Ridge, and it's got a lot of the songs we're playing tonight. But recently we went in the studio and recorded a CD of all gospel and hymns, and we'll do a couple of songs off that CD right now. One of the interesting things is I like to tell this little story, which is actually true. I go to a little church way out in the country, of course here in North Carolina, and it's not a very big congregation or anything, but a couple of years ago, we've just got a piano. We don't have a big organ or anything like that, but a couple years ago, our pianist wasn't able to play piano on Sunday mornings anymore. She had done it for many years, and she was great. And they said, Jeff, when you're not on the road, can you maybe play for our services on Sunday morning? I said, well, when I'm in town, I'd be very glad to do that. And they said, well, can you read music? And I told them, not enough to hurt my playing. Which is really true, actually. So I told the church, I said, as long as y'all don't mind singing the top 40 hymns of all time, I've got you covered, because I know all those. And so once we got past that, so every now and then I will play on Sunday morning, and as y'all might imagine, it ain't exactly like the hymn book, but everybody seems to like it okay. But I do have a hymn book up there with me, and they say, well, why do you have a hymn book up there? And I said, well, I have to know how many verses it is so I'll know when to stop playing. But anyhow, when I was thinking about songs for this new record, I came across this old melody, which is an old hymn you don't hear all the time, but it's one that I thought would be great to put on there. Here's our version of a great hymn called Be Thou My Vision. John, oh John, what would you say? Walking in Jerusalem just like John, I'll meet you there on Judgment Day. Walking in Jerusalem just like John. I want to be ready, I want to be ready, I want to be ready, Lord. Walking in Jerusalem just like John. Well, some come crippled and some come lame, walking in Jerusalem just like John, and some come walking in Jesus' name, walking in Jerusalem just like John. I want to be ready, I want to be ready, I want to be ready, Lord, walking in Jerusalem just like John. To heaven before I do, walking in Jerusalem just like John. Will tell my friends I'm a coming too, walking in Jerusalem just like John. I want to be ready, I want to be ready, I want to be ready, Lord, walking in Jerusalem just like John. I want to be ready, I want to be ready, I want to be ready, Lord, walking in Jerusalem just like John. Walking in Jerusalem just like John. Walking in Jerusalem just like John. Thank y'all. Well, Steve, how about getting that 5-string out there? And Steve's not only an unbelievable guitarist, but he's a 2-time national champion on the 5-string banjo. I think that's a pretty cool thing. While he's getting that banjo situated, I'm going to do one song for you here on the piano. My family had a music store in Boone, North Carolina, many years when I was growing up, and they had Martin guitars, Gibson guitars, pianos, banjos, mandolins, everything in there. And they also sold albums. Anybody remember what those were? Those big round flat things that had music on them, you know. And I was listening in there some records one day, and I heard this piano riff. It went something like this. It was an old Dave Brubeck record. I didn't know if any of y'all had ever heard this before, so I was afraid of that. So I kept listening to it, and I thought, man, this is the coolest little piano riff because it's like in a really strange time signature. And once I got this figured out, I kept listening to the record after I learned this, and the melody came in. It was a saxophone player. I think his name was Paul Desmond, I think, Josh. Now, heaven knows me and Josh and Steve, we can't afford to carry around a saxophone player for just one song. So I was thinking to myself, I was just going to have to learn both parts at the same time. Now, be real honest with y'all, this doesn't always go that great. But y'all seem like a really nice bunch. So see what happens. Thank you. Thank you so much. I'll take it. Thank you. Thank you. Well, Steve's getting that 5-string tuned up there, and he's one of the best players you'll hear anywhere. But, you know, we do a lot of research and stuff, and sometimes we're thinking about kind of what makes our group unique, and some people think it's the instrumentation, you know, a piano playing all this traditional music, but we actually think it's this. We've thought about this for a long time. We think this might really be true. We're the only band in the history of music, and I mean the history of music, that when they play a show, they go from Dave Brubeck to Earl Scruggs. That's right. And actually, we're very proud of that. So, since we have the 2-time national champion up here, I think we ought to start with the banjo national anthem. So here's little Steve Lewis with a little bit of Foggy Mountain Breakdown for y'all. Thank you. Well, we've got about time for 2 more songs before intermission here, and we try to keep our sets fairly short. And in other words, we'll when we come back, we won't play too late tonight. One thing, Steve and I have done this for a long time. One thing that we really work hard at, we like to quit playing before people start leaving because it makes us feel a lot better about ourselves. So, isn't that right, Steve? This ain't our first show.
Jeff and I were actually playing a gig one time. It was really bad weather, and we didn't know if anybody was going to be there or not. And sure enough, we get there, and there's this one fella sitting right on the corner of the front row right there, just one person. And like Jeff said, we've done this a long time, and this man spent his money and time to come out and see us, and Dad's going to play our regular show, even if there was just one fella there. And got time for the intermission, and Jeff said, we're going to take a little short intermission, but we'll be right back. And he thanked the fellow, said, thank you so much. We appreciate you coming out on a night like this and staying with us. And he said, yeah, it's all right. You guys can go whenever you want to. I got to stay here and clean up after y'all leave anyway.
We're still glad to see him, though.
Very glad to see him.
We'd like to do a couple of more songs here before intermission. One song I'd like to do, if y'all don't mind, I'd like to do one original song for you right here. And I mentioned a CD called Made in the Blue Ridge, and this CD is one of our more recent CDs, but I put one original song. I wrote this instrumental several years ago, and so I hope y'all enjoy it. This little tune is called Grassy Creek. Thank you. Well, we'd like to do one more song before intermission. I'd like to remind you our CDs are right down front. Luke Little will be down here, and we're going to take a short break, and then we'll come back and for our second set. We really appreciate y'all coming out to hear us play tonight. Thank y'all so much for doing that. We appreciate it. Well, I think to end this set appropriately, we ought to just have Steve burn one up on the banjo. Steve's known this song a long time, but Josh and I learned it about a week ago. It's a great old tune called the Shenandoah Breakdown. Thank you so much. We'll be back in just a bit. Thank y'all.
We have twice a year, the last 2 years, we've been having a garage sale, and we collect donations, and then it's over in the gymnasium building, and then we have the sale. It's going to be on September 24th, but we are now accepting donations for that, and we've raised $6,000 through that yard sale. And that money is going into our site design implementation, and we're just getting ready to start building the outdoor restroom that I've been talking about for a year and a half. So we are getting to that. We had a little delay, but so that'll be coming up. But that money goes towards anything on the grounds that we're implementing as part of our site design plan. So bring your donations if you want to volunteer. A funny story, the candy lady's in the house tonight, and last Easter, she had dropped off some donations, and she called us and said, well, there's a box of food over there. So we just thought she wanted us to go get the food because she didn't, want it to be over in the gym with the rats. But anyway, it was all this candy, like Easter candy. And so us girls just started eating it because we were like, somebody donated some candy. So anyway, and then she called back to say she had left her, I don't know who the candy was for, but it wasn't for us. So Melinda ran to town and bought like the Reese's Cups, and we bought all new bags of candy. And I just want you to know, you cannot get Rolos in Robbinsville, North Carolina. So anyway, now she's been dropping candy off to us because apparently she feels like we need it. So thank you, Candy Lady. We really appreciate it.
gonna take up some donations?
You want me to talk about that too?
Yeah, I'll let
Okay.
you.
Okay, we've got these buckets here, and it's not to catch from the mouse. Anyway, we collect donations.
Who knows where the water came from? Some of the ladies didn't think a rat could hold that much water. It didn't.
Okay. There's going to be a rat running around here next week on the stage. So after the show, for those of you who haven't been here before, if you came in the gallery, it's now closed, and so you'll need to exit one of the 2 doors on your right-hand side. And Sunny and I will be out there. We collect donations, and these donations go directly back into the operations of the center. We are grant-funded nonprofit. We have about 50% of our revenue is from grants, but we always need money. Those don't usually pay for utilities and upkeep and that. So we do collect donations, and if you can help us, that would be great. We'd really appreciate it.
I did want to say one thing. My wife's with us. I tell jokes on her all the time, but we were walking down the street the other day and went by the compound, and they work out in there, and they're on walking machines. And we walked by, and a nice-looking man, about 25, was walking, all beefed up everywhere. And I told my wife, I said, if you'll give me one of them machines, in 6 months, I'll look just like that. She said, honey, this is a treadmill. It's not a time machine. Y'all ready for more piano playing and banjo picking? Jeff Little and the trio.
And the trio.
Thank y'all so much, and thank you, appreciate that. Well, we're glad to be back for the second set here, and we were talking backstage on what to start the second set on, and I did a fiddle tune earlier, and we're going to do more of an old-time fiddle song to kind of get started. I'll ask Steve to kick this one off, and this fiddle tune has a more Celtic feel to it, and this is an old fiddle tune called, it's actually Steve's favorite song. It's called Whiskey Before Breakfast. Thank you. Thank you so much. I'm going to get Steve to pick a song here. During the first set, I mentioned Doc Watson, and what Doc was famous for and was kind of the first one to do on the guitar was taking old-time melodies and fiddle tunes and doing a lot of flat picking with them. And this is one of those tunes that was on one of his records that he just kind of burns up doing some serious flat picking, so we'll feature Steve. And the story goes, Doc went in the studio and he recorded this song, and it's an old tune called I Don't Love Nobody, and he used to take those old melodies and turn them into instrumentals. And so he went in there and just played it like crazy, and when he came back in, the engineer was asking him what the title of the song was. And Doc misunderstood him and thought he was bragging on his playing, and Doc said, "Oh, there ain't nothing to it." So when the record came out, it was called Nothing to It. So at least that's what I heard anyhow.
Which is very, very far from the truth.
There's a lot to it, isn't there, Steve? So here's Mr. Steve Lewis with a tune called Nothing to It. Great picking there, Steve.
Thank you.
Well, he had such a good time in the first set. I just think we need to bring Luke Little out for one more song on the mandolin. Come on out, Luke. This is a tune. When did you learn this song, Luke? This couple days ago? 4 days ago. All right. Well, if nothing else, you got a lot of courage, son. I love it. That's right. Now, I don't know this one quite as well. What key is this in G, Steve?
Yeah, if we all did it in different keys, it'd sound like there's like 20 of us.
Well, that'd be a good idea.
It is in G.
So I think this is an old tune called The Temperance Reel. Mr. Luke Little, y'all. Well, it's been many years ago. It's probably been about 21 years ago or so. The National Council for Traditional Arts asked me to go out on tour with the original Sun Rhythm Section. If you don't know who that is, that's session players that got to play on all those great recordings from Memphis, like when Elvis and Johnny Cash and Jerry Lee were doing all those recordings. And they were some really great players. It was a great honor to get to go out and do some shows with those guys. And all my musician buddies thought, man, that is so cool. You're playing with all those guys that invented, all that rock and roll music back in the day. Playing with Johnny Cash and Elvis and all that. And they said, man, that must have been awesome to play those shows. I said, the shows were great, but the stories on the bus were even better. Actually, a lot better than the shows. But so every now and then I get asked if I can do a Jerry Lee Lewis song or maybe something like that. And I say, not really, but let's try something like that. Thank you so much. We don't normally do that song. I'm not even sure I know the words, but if y'all will help me, might as well try it. Here we go. Y'all help us now. I found my thrill, I hear ya, on Blueberry Hill. Y'all sound great. On Blueberry Hill. When I found you, the moon stood still, right? The moon stood still on Blueberry Hill. It lingered until our dream came true. Whoa, the wind. I'm glad y'all knew that. Love's sweet melody. But all of those vows we made were never to be. Though we're that's awesome. You're part of me still. For you real. Y'all tell it now.
Y'all are great.
That was unbelievable. That's the first audience I've ever heard that knew the bridge. And I'm glad they did, because I have no idea. That was great. Well, I tell you what, if y'all don't mind, I will do one Jerry Lee Lewis song here then while we're doing this stuff. And I got to preface this by saying I don't do this anything like Jerry Lee Lewis. This must be the Appalachian version of a Jerry Lee Lewis song right here. So if you're going to do something like some old rockabilly or blues or that sort of thing, I think the most important thing you got to do is lay down some low-down mean notes to begin with, something like this. Kind of gets you right here, doesn't it? And then you got to get the left hand happening something like this. I said, come along, baby, a whole lot of shaking going on. I said, come along, baby, a whole lot of shaking going on. Come on over, whole lot of shaking going on. Yeah, I said, come along, baby, we got chicken in a barn. I said, come along, baby, we got the bull by the horn. Come on over, whole lot of shaking going on. Here comes a Jerry Lee lick right here. Well, that was the Jerry Lee part, sorta. You know, but coming from the Blue Ridge Mountains of North Carolina, I felt kind of obligated to kind of put the Appalachian part in, and it turned out something like this. Chicken in the barn, it's by my barn, my barn. Come along, baby, we got the bull by the horn. Come on over, a whole lot of shaking's going on. Thank y'all. Well, that's probably enough of that. Well, thank y'all so much. We're going to do an old tune right here that's an old country song that we get asked to do this every now and then. I think it's on one of the CDs as well. It's kind of our version of one that's been done many times, but we're pretty close to Tennessee right now. So let's do this one right here, guys. Well, we're going to get Steve to get the banjo out here, and we've got time for just a few more songs here. We're going to get Josh to sing another one. While he's getting the banjo tuned up, I know I probably told this story last year, but it's something I always like to tell whenever we go out and play everywhere. And we like to tell folks how it is where we're from in North Carolina, kind of how it was growing up in that part of the country. And I think it's the same in a lot of places, but I always like to mention that my grandparents, and even my parents, everybody had a garden. Anybody still got a garden out there? You still grow your vegetables and stuff? And they used to do a lot of canning. You know what I mean? They used to, the ball jars and pressure cooker and all that. I guarantee you my grandmother had enough green beans in the basement to last about 10 or 15 years. You know what I'm saying? I mean, she was prepared. She had it going on. So that brings me to this story. Back in 1960, it came a terrible snow in this part of the country, especially in the northwest corner of North Carolina, southwestern Virginia. And it lasted for like 5 weeks straight. It kept snowing each week, and they got very worried about livestock. They got very worried about people. And come to find out, there was this elderly lady that lived up on one of the mountains that nobody had heard from in 2 or 3 weeks, and they got very concerned about her. So they thought they better fly in the American Red Cross. So they did that. They landed a helicopter about a mile from her house. It's the only place they could land, and it took them about 2 hours to hike through the snow to get to her farmhouse there. And they got to her house. They actually had to shovel several feet of snow off her front porch just to get the screen door open. And they finally got the screen door open. They knocked on the door. Nobody came to the door. They knocked on the door. She finally came to the door, and they said, "Ma'am, we're from the American Red Cross." And she said, "Well, I'm sorry, honey. I just can't give anything this year. It's been a pretty bad winter." Thank you so much. We think that's actually a true story. I'd like to feature Josh on a great old tune right here. We do a Blue Ridge Cabin? I guess so. It's an old tune called My Blue Ridge Cabin Home.
There's a well-beaten path on this old mountain where I wandered when I was a lad. There I wandered along to the place I called home, those Blue Ridge hills far away. Oh, I love those hills of old Virginia. From those Blue Ridge hills I did roam. When I die, won't you bury me on the mountain, far away near my Blue Ridge mountain home? Well, my thoughts wandered back to that ramshackle shack, those memories of days gone by. There my mother and dad are laying there to rest. They're sleeping in peace together there. Oh, I love those hills of old Virginia. From those Blue Ridge hills I did roam. When I die, won't you bury me on the mountain, far away near my Blue Ridge mountain home? I've been longing for days gone by. When I die, won't you bury me on that old mountainside, make my resting place upon the hill so high. Oh, I love those hills of old Virginia. From those Blue Ridge hills I did roam. When I die, won't you bury me on the mountain, far away near my Blue Ridge mountain home, far away near my Blue Ridge mountain home. Thank you.
Well, we'd like to do maybe a couple more songs here this evening, and let's do one another song. Maybe y'all can help us sing here a little bit. As we get toward the end of our shows, let's do one more gospel tune here. Maybe do a little medley of them right here. And if y'all can help us sing them, man, they sang great on the last song, Josh. We're going to start with an old Carter family song right here. And of course, they were a big influence on not only traditional music, but all sorts of music all through American music.
You know, I didn't remember Jimmy and Rosalind doing that much singing.
Josh, we almost made it through the whole show. Unbelievable. So that's what's fun about this gig. It's something new every gig. It's always good. So anyhow, if y'all know this, help us sing them now. Well, I was standing by my window on a cold, cloudy day when I saw that hearse rolling, oh, to carry my mother away. Y'all help us now. Will the circle be unbroken by and by, Lord, by and by? I hear you. There's a better home waiting in the sky, Lord, in the sky. Pick one, Steve. I said, listen, well, undertaker, would you please drive slow for that body that you're carrying? Oh, I hate to see her go. Will the circle be unbroken by and by, Lord, by and by? There's a better home awaiting in the sky, Lord, in the sky. Y'all sound great, man. Let's do one more. I tell you what, let's stay right on that G chord there, guys. Let's just pick the tempo up a little bit. Did y'all see how we did that? That's because we're professionals. Y'all help us now. Well, one glad morning when this life is o'er, I'll fly away to a land on God's celestial shore. I'll fly away. Y'all singing now. I hear you. Amen. When I die, hallelujah, by and by, I'll fly away. Well, just a few more weary days and then I'll fly away to a land where joys will never end. I'll fly away. Let's sing it one more time. When I die, hallelujah, by and by, I'll fly away. When I die, hallelujah, by and by, I'll fly away. Great singing, y'all. Well, we've had a wonderful time being here tonight. We'd like to do one more song for you. I would like to let everybody know that if you'd like to know where we are playing, we do have a website. It's jefflittle.net. You can find our schedule there. And if you'd like to send an email there to get in touch with us, just go right ahead, and my people will get right back with you, of course. I am my people. That's right. As a matter of fact, you can tell by looking at us, we're on the cutting edge of technology. About a year...
Right there.
Right there.
Right there.
About a year and a half ago, we started a Facebook page. Thank you. So, actually, I didn't. My wife Sharon keeps up with our Facebook page. You know, people can go on there, and we're always posting where we're going to be playing and all that. And she said, you really need to have one of those. People can go on, and then she said something very interesting that I didn't know about. She said, people can go on there and like you. And I said, well, go ahead and set one of those up. We'll take one of those. So you can find us, the Jeff Little Trio there, and we do kind of post where we're going to be and all that sort of thing. But all seriousness, thanks so much for coming to hear us play tonight. We really appreciate y'all coming out. And what a great venue this is here at Stecoah. It's a wonderful place to play. It really is. Well, we'd like to do one more song for you, and we've been closing our shows, even the last couple of years. I think we've closed the show here with this song, but it's kind of become a tradition now, and people say, man, you got to do that song. And I tell the little story, which is true. About maybe 3 years ago, somebody came up at a show and said, can you do dueling banjos on the banjo and the piano? And we said, why, sure, we've never played it, but that's never stopped us before. So the thing was, we tried it that night, and everybody seemed to love it, so we've been closing our shows with it, and the greatest thing about this is Steve hates this song, which absolutely just tickles me and Josh to death.
You know who your pals are.
Plus, I'm feeling pretty good tonight, so we're going to go back and forth here and end the show up with a dueling banjos. Thanks so much for coming out to hear us play tonight. We appreciate it, y'all.
Have you added more keys to that thing?
Come on. Did I hear some Led Zeppelin in there?
It's old time music.
That is old time music. That's all right. I got it right here. I got it. want to do Johnny? Thank y'all so much. We'll be glad to do one more song here. Thank y'all so much. Well, now that we've got an extra song, we're just going to have fun. We really, really appreciate that, y'all. And we don't know this song this well. We played this the other night at a little show and had a little fun with it, so this will be a fun one to encore with. And let's just get in the key of E right there and create this little groove, boys. Thank y'all so much. I just really like that groove a lot. I just got to think of a song to go with it. Let's try this. I hear that train a-comin', it's rolling round the bend. I ain't seen the sunshine since I don't know when. Well, I'm stuck in Folsom Prison, time keeps dragging on. And that train keeps rolling on down to San Antone. Play it, Wichita. God tell it, son. Told me, son, always be a good boy, you don't ever play with guns. But I shot a man in Reno just to watch him die. In that train, I hang my head and I cry. Let me play one now. Take it home. Thank y'all so much. We've had a wonderful time tonight. Thank you. Thank you.